25-year-old Laurie Houts lived in Mountain View, California in 1992. She worked as a computer engineer. On September 5th of the same year, Laurie's body was found in her car in Mountain View, near a garbage dump about a mile away from her workplace. Rope was used to strangle her and was still around her neck. Police found footprints on the inside of her windshield. Investigators quickly identified a prime suspect, John Kevin Woodward. He was allegedly openly jealous of Laurie. Woodward had developed a romantic attachment to Laurie's boyfriend, who was also his roommate. In the late 1990s, Woodward was tried twice in the case, but it was unsuccessful. The case was dismissed by a judge for insufficient evidence after a jury could not reach a verdict after the second trial. Woodward's fingerprints were found located on the outside of Laurie's car, but investigators could not prove he was inside of the car. Woodward moved to the Netherlands after the trial. Later on, he would become the president and CEO of the Bay Area company ReadyTech. It is an online training company. Investigators did not give up on Laurie's case and still followed up on leads and searched for evidence. In late 2020, investigators resubmitted all the forensic evidence they had for further analysis. Over 80 latent fingerprints that were collected at the crime scene were re-examined by the Santa Clara County Sheriff's Office Identification Unit. This resulted in even more fingerprints matching Woodward. His fingerprints were found in places only the person who took her life could have touched. John Woodward was apprehended by police at JFK Airport in New York on July 9, 2022, after arriving from Amsterdam. If convicted, Woodward faces life in prison. Deputy District Attorney Rob Baker of the Santa Clara County's DA office had this to say: "I'm thrilled that we have a second chance to seek justice for Laurie after nearly 30 years. It's so rare that new evidence is discovered decades after a case is dismissed, giving us another shot at holding Mr. Woodward accountable. The arrest of Mr. Woodward is a testament to advances in forensic science. Without those advances, we never would have been able to refile this case." The fact that police didn't start regularly collecting DNA evidence until maybe 20 to 25 years ago makes cold case investigations very challenging. For example, Laurie's purse and wallet might have had a lot of DNA on them, but testing was impossible because they were contaminated with fingerprint dust. Laurie's family issued a statement. Laurie Ann Houts was a beloved family member and friend to many. Although she was only 5 foot tall, she had a huge heart and her humor and spunk were endearing to all. The way Laurie lived and treated people was a stunning example of what was right in the world. She was a gem to so many, but her bright life was taken from us at the age of 25. We are hopeful that justice can finally be served for Laurie, and incredibly appreciative of law enforcement agencies who have never given up on her. To keep her memory alive, Laurie's family established the Laurie Houts Memorial Girls Athletic Scholarship, whose donations go to graduating female seniors. 12-year-old Lesia Michelle Jackson lived in Montgomery County, Texas in 1979. She left her home on September 7th to spend the day at a community pool in her neighborhood. When she did not return home, her family got worried and called 911. The following day, her glasses were found at a local intersection, but no other sign of her. 6 days later, on September 13th, 1979, an oilfield worker found her body in a heavily wooded area near a pipeline in Montgomery County. An autopsy report revealed that she had been assaulted before her life was taken. Investigators collected DNA that belonged to the suspect from her body and stored it to be used later. Detectives began an extensive investigation into her case that lasted for years, and while all leads were explored, the case eventually became cold. In 2021, investigators decided to take another look. They made use of a new technology called MVAC. The MVAC system enables investigators to solve more crime through better DNA collection. It expands potential evidentiary items by collecting DNA from porous and rough objects or surfaces. Montgomery County Sheriff's Office Cold Case Squad utilized this new technology in October of 2021 to successfully extract unknown DNA from Lesia's clothing collected at the crime scene. From there, the unknown DNA was sent to Texas DPS forensic scientists, who were able to develop a DNA profile of the person that took her life. In 2022, investigators submitted the profile into the FBI's Combined DNA Index system. CODIS determined that it matched with a man named Gerald Dwight Casey. Casey had been executed in 2002 for taking someone else's life in Montgomery County in 1989. Casey, who was 34 years old back then, and his accomplice, 36-year-old Carla Smith, tried to steal guns from a man named Daryl Pennington in 1989. When they arrived at Pennington's home, they instead found his roommate, Sonia Lynn Howell. Casey beat her with the home telephone and went on to shoot her 9 times. He then dumped her body in a wooded area. He was convicted in 1991. Before ending Howell's life, Casey had been in and out of prison for multiple convictions, including burglary and multiple drug charges. The Montgomery County Sheriff's Office has noted that this marks the oldest cold case solved by their department to date. "80-year-old Antonio Rodriguez and his 77-year-old wife Luz lived in Cleveland, Texas in 2005. Antonio was a World War II veteran. The couple had been a beloved fixture in Cleveland and were known for their kindness. They operated a small Mexican food restaurant from their home to serve shift workers at a local plywood mill. On April 14, 2005, the couple's daughter Carolina Tejeda went to their home to make lunch for them. They didn't answer the door, so she thought they might be asleep, but still entered to make them lunch. Carolina then found her father's body on the floor of their bedroom and her mother's body in their bed. They had both been beaten and strangled. Police dogs were able to track the scent of a suspect across some railroad tracks to a nearby apartment complex, but were unable to lead investigators any further than that. Blood from an unknown suspect was found on a large rug in the couple's home, and the DNA was entered into the FBI's combined DNA index system, but there were no hits at the time. For years, the case went cold. Then in March of 2021, when investigators again entered the DNA sample into CODIS, they found a match. The DNA was linked to Shelley Susan Thompson Lemoyne. She was serving time in a Texas prison for an unrelated drug offense. Lemoyne denied knowing the Rodriguez family and having any involvement in the crime. Another DNA sample was taken from her at the prison, and it was matched to the DNA found at the crime scene back in 2005. She was arrested on the 8th of July of 2022, outside her parole office in connection to the Rodriguez case. Cleveland Police Chief Daryl Brazad had this to say after the arrest was made. "Sometimes, such small pieces of evidence can solve a case, and in this case, it was that piece of carpet that was found inside the home that had a speck of blood on it." For the couple's family, it was a welcome development in the case that has continued to haunt the family. Their daughter, Carolina Tejeda, who made the horrific discovery, said, "I knew it would come. I didn't know this long, but I knew this day would come. The community has always kept our parents in their prayers, and we're just very thankful, and God is good." She also said that she believes more people could have been involved in the slaying, and that she did not know and had never seen Thompson Lemoyne. Martin Rodriguez, another one of the couple's 10 children, said that he believes the arrest is the first step in helping the family heal from the tragedy. "I have seen the hand of God at work today. Our family is extremely relieved that there is activity in our parents' case. We are grateful for the efforts of the Texas Rangers, particularly Ranger Bess, Cleveland Police Department, and the Liberty County District Attorney's Office. They have shown that they do care about what happened to our parents. They have restored our hope and faith in the justice system."